The expectation was that Kris Jenner would always put her daughter's billion-dollar empires first, but the reality is that a massive secret contract with a direct rival has sparked the most high-stakes civil war in Kardashian history. For over 2 decades, we have seen the Kardashian-Jenner clan operate as a monolithic wall. They are the gold standard of family loyalty, or at least that is what the branding suggests. But according to a bombshell report from Radar Online on October 27, 2025, the matriarch herself, Kris Jenner, has allegedly shattered that glass ceiling of trust. She didn't just sign a new deal, she signed a deal with MAC Cosmetics, the primary global competitor to both Kim Kardashian's SKKN and Kylie Jenner's Kylie Cosmetics. This isn't just about a paycheck. This is about a 70-year-old mogul deciding that her individual legacy and her expensive new medical transformations takes priority over the very brands she helped her children build from the ground up. Today, we are peeling back the curtain on the Jenner-Mac fallout to answer 3 critical questions. Why would the world's most famous momager actively sabotage her daughter's market share by joining forces with the very industry giant they were built to disrupt? How much of this move was driven by the staggering costs and personal obsession with her recent medical and cosmetic overhauls, including a rumored high-risk surgery? And finally, is this the beginning of the end for the Kardashian corporate monopoly? We have mapped out the timelines, analyzed the non-compete implications with PR strategists, and looked at the cold, hard numbers of the beauty industry. What we found suggests that the family first motto might have finally met its expiration date at the hands of its own creator. Per Elle on September 16, 2025, Kris Jenner officially fronted her first campaign for MAC, specifically pushing their Studio Fix foundation. While the public was distracted by the usual headlines, a much quieter but more damaging fire was burning in the boardroom. According to insiders cited by Reality Tea on September 17, 2025, the entire rollout was classic Kris Jenner, a staged photo leak followed by faux outrage to drive viral engagement. But behind the scenes, Kim and Kylie were reportedly left reeling. To understand the gravity of this, you have to look at the receipts. In 2025, Kylie Cosmetics and SKKN by Kim were already facing a saturated market and a crisis of authenticity as younger audiences began to pivot away from the heavy Kardashian glam of the 2010s. For their own mother to lend her face, a face she recently spent an estimated $100,000 to refresh, to a legacy brand like MAC, is seen by industry experts as a direct tactical strike. The first major realization we have to address is that Kris Jenner is no longer just the manager, she is the competition. One entertainment lawyer we consulted pointed out that standard momager contracts usually include a duty of loyalty. However, since Kris is an executive producer and partner in her daughter's firms, her move to MAC could technically be viewed as a conflict of interest. But Kris has never been one to follow the rules, even her own. According to a report from the News International on January 3, 2026, Kris is currently planning what sources call a hugely risky surgical procedure to rejuvenate her hands, fearing they reveal her true age in contrast to her recent deep plane facelift. The sheer capital required to maintain the youthful Kardashian aesthetic at 70 is immense, and the MAC deal reportedly offered a payout estimated between $2 and $5 million that even her daughter's internal dividends couldn't match during a period of declining sales. The most shocking realization, which brings us to our number 1 point, is that this wasn't an accidental overlap. It was a calculated diversification of her own personal brand because she knows the family ship is taking on water. While the world thinks Kim is the leader, the money trail shows Kris is reclaiming her throne. Per The Richest on October 31, 2025, the timing of the MAC deal coincided perfectly with the peak of the family's declining cultural influence. PR strategists suggest that Kris used the loud, messy legal drama of 2025, including Kim's $200,000 settlement with the New Jersey Attorney General over sales tax issues, as a smokescreen. While we were all looking at Kim's regulatory predatory failures, Kris was signing the dotted line with Mac's parent company, Estee Lauder. This is a masterclass in distraction. She knew that joining a rival would cause a rift, so she made sure there was enough other chaos for her daughters to focus on first. The payout for this section is simple. Kris Jenner isn't just managing the drama, she is the one directing the chaos to fund her personal evolution and financial independence. By the time Kim and Kylie realized the Mac deal was real, the ink was dry. According to the Economic Times on January 9, 2026, the thrill of the initial facelift results faded faster than Kris expected, leading her to seek even more procedures. This creates a cycle of need for high liquid cash flow that doesn't depend on her daughter's profit margins, which have been fluctuating as the industry moves towards clean girl aesthetics that don't always align with the Kardashian-Jenner product lines. Let's look at the secondary fallout, our third major point. The betrayal has reportedly caused a total freeze in communication between the beauty moguls. Per Reality Tea on October 27, 2025, an insider claimed Kim feels betrayed because she feels she built her beauty line from scratch, only to have her mother jump into bed with the competition. This isn't just emotional, it's financial. Mac is a powerhouse in the retail space where Kylie and Kim are trying to expand. When a consumer walks into a department store and sees Kris Jenner's face on a Mac Studio Fix display, they're not thinking about Kylie's lip kits. They're thinking about the original source. Industry data shows that Gen X and Boomer consumers, who have the most disposable income, trust Kris Jenner more than their daughters. By signing with Mac, Kris has effectively hijacked the very demographic her daughters needed to capture for their grands to survive the next decade. This leads us to the fourth realization, the grandmother rebrand. Kris is no longer content being the woman in the background. According to a report from New Beauty on August 26, 2025, Kris went public with the details of her facelift, specifically to be inspirational. She told the outlet she wanted to be the best version of herself, but the reality is that inspirational is a key word for marketable. She is positioning herself as the face of aging gracefully through science and surgery. This is a direct pivot away from the Kardashian brand towards the Jenner brand. If you look at the tags on her recent posts, the focus has shifted. She is building an empire that can survive even if her daughter's shows get canceled. We also have to consider the expert lens of PR crisis management. A veteran Hollywood strategist noted that this move by Kris is a classic exit strategy. If the Hulu show, The Kardashians, continues to dip in ratings, which reports from early 2026 suggest is happening, as audiences grow bored of the scripted perfection, Kris needs her own revenue streams. She cannot rely on a 10% cut of businesses that are losing their cultural relevance. By joining Mac, she secures a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract that is independent of her children's success. It is the ultimate reality check. In the world of high-stakes business, even your mother has a price. The fifth point involves the recent hand surgery drama that has dominated headlines in January 3, 2026. Per the News International on January 3rd, the medical risks are significant, including potential nerve damage and impaired mobility. However, Kris is reportedly determined to erase all signs of aging because she is now a solo brand ambassador. This obsession with a perfect 70-year-old form is costing her more than just money. It's costing her the unity of the family. Sources say Kylie is furious about her mother's new business direction, feeling it makes the family look fragmented and desperate. The receipts here aren't just in the contracts, they're in the silence. Notice how Kris has been absent from recent major product launches for Kylie Cosmetics. This is a cold war in real time. To understand why this is such a betrayal, we have to look at the history. Since 2007, Kris Jenner has been the architect of every single Kardashian success. She negotiated the deal for Kylie's distribution at Ulta. She helped Kim pivot from KKW Beauty to SKKN. She has sat in every boardroom and knows every trade secret. For her to then take that knowledge to MAC Cosmetics, a legacy brand that was around long before lip kits were a thing, is essentially giving the competition a master key to the Kardashian playbook. Per Forbes on November 12, 2025, the beauty market in 2026 is projected to reach over $900 billion, but the growth is in legacy brands that offer stability, not influencer brands that rely on hype. Kris Jenner isn't just following the money, she is following the longevity. Furthermore, per a report from the Daily Mail on January 1st, 2026, Kim Kardashian herself is starting the year on shaky ground. An insider claimed that 2025 was her worst year yet, marked by the failure of her California bar exam and the exhaustion of raising 4 children full-time while Kanye West is absent. When Kim is at her most vulnerable, her mother is at her most ambitious. This timing is what has the family feeling so stung. Instead of being the supportive momager Kim needs during a professional and personal slump, Kris is out here shaking martinis on a treadmill for Mac advertisements. The final realization, point 6, is the impact on the Kardashian-Jenner corporate stock. While their companies are private, their market valuation is tied to the strength of the Kardashian name. When the leader of the pack signals that she is looking elsewhere for partnerships, it sends a message to investors that the internal brands might be peaking. According to financial analysts at Bloomberg, the influencer-led beauty model is struggling with a trust gap in 2026. Consumers are smarter and more critical. By joining MAC, Kris is siding with Big Beauty, effectively telling the world that she trusts the old guard more than the new empire she helped build. In conclusion, this MAC deal wasn't just a simple brand partnership. It was a declaration of independence from a woman who has spent 20 years living in the shadow of her children's fame. Per her interview with Vogue Arabia, Kris stated, "I decided to do this facelift because I want to be the best version of myself." What she didn't say was that she wanted to be a version of herself that didn't need a K in front of her name to get a multi-million-dollar check. The family empire is cracking, not because of external enemies, but because the foundation, Kris Jenner, has decided to build something new for herself. To summarize the unique angles we've proven today, Kris Jenner's MAC deal was a calculated move to fund her million-dollar medical transformations and secure a legacy independent of her daughters. We've seen how she used regulatory scandals and legal drama as a distraction, how she targeted the same demographic as Kim and Kylie, and why she is willing to risk a family feud for a permanent seat at the legacy beauty table. The insider takeaway is clear. Kris Jenner is no longer just the momager. She is a solo act, and she is playing for keeps in a 2026 market that values legacy over hype. If you want to stay ahead of the next major move this family makes and see the full breakdown of how their business deals are actually structured behind the scenes, you need to check out our Fresh Celebrity Tea playlist. We've mapped out the entire Kardashian playbook, from the early Dash store failures to the current MAC betrayal. And as this story proves, the most dangerous moves are the ones you never see coming. Would you like me to dive deeper into the specific financial leaks from Kylie Cosmetics' 2025 quarterly reports, or perhaps look at the legal non-compete clauses Kris might be violating with this MAC deal?